Acércatelo un poquito más. Ahí está.
Aquí, ¿me oyen mejor? Bien, gracias. Me oyen sin micrófono.
Listo. Bueno,
Ok.
sean bienvenidas, bienvenidos todos a esta nueva sesión del ciclo de conferencias de lengua y cultura organizado por el Centro de Autoacceso y Mediateca de la Escuela Nacional de Estudios Superiores, Unidad Morelia. Y pues nos da mucho gusto poder recibirlos en esta transmisión en vivo. Y el día de hoy la conferencia trata sobre las certificaciones internacionales. Para ello, en particular en el idioma inglés, que es en donde se va a centrar la conferencia de hoy, pues tiene una gran importancia no solamente en el ámbito académico, sino también laboral tener una certificación. Entonces, hay tantas certificaciones como posibilidades para poder acceder a ellas. Diferencias en precios, en tipos de exámenes, áreas que se evalúan. Y bueno, ya para no adelantarme, eso lo van a comentar nuestros ponentes de hoy. Nos acompaña la maestra Karina Godina, coordinadora del Centro de Autoacceso y Mediateca, y la maestra Gloria Gastón, profesora del Departamento de Idiomas y del CAAM. Y bueno, pues les dejo a ellas el micrófono y les damos también la bienvenida al público que nos acompaña hoy aquí en el aula magna B. Pues sean bienvenidos.
Gracias. Okay, hello everybody. Does everybody here speak English? Yes. Yes. Okay, so could you understand if we speak in English? Okay, excellent. Fine. Okay, welcome again to this conference named Language Certifications. And me, as the coordinator of the center, and teacher Gloria, are in charge of this department. It's a department that is really important for all of the students inside NS, inside UNAM, and outside also. Why? Because now it's a requirement for everything, okay? If you are studying English as part of the curricula in your studies, it is really important that you get a certification at the end or in the middle of. Why? Because you're going to need it for the rest of your life. So all of the certifications has advantages. Some of them has different cost. Some of them are applied in different ways. So we're going to talk about all of this during this conference. I hope that you can get some good information from us today. And also, if you have any questions, feel free to ask and feel free to come to Mediateca then to talk about dates and costs and everything, okay? So, certifications. Okay, now, but could you please, because I haven't seen the, yeah, thank you. Could you please pass to the next one? No, pass to the next, diapositave. Here. Oh, no, we can't see anything. Give me 1 second. Just on the TV. We can see on the TV, but
Okay.
not on the big screen. Okay.
What for? So the screen is not useful today, but you can watch it in the televisions, okay? Please.
No, you cannot see anything? No, not on the TV also.
Yeah, listo.
Dale en esta grada.
What for to certify your level of English, French, Italian, Japanese, Korean, or any language in the world. Remember that when we are studying any language, any second language is for communication. Yes, remember that. It's not only, maybe you will have a kind of a frame in your room that says you're a master in German. And that's great. But if you do not use it, if you do not communicate in German with some of the people who speak German or native speakers, you didn't fulfill the purpose of studying it. Okay, it's very important that you communicate. But what happens with a certification? Well, certifications are very useful because With them, you are going to get some scholarships, some entrance to the postgrades, to go to another country to study whatever you want. Of course, if you are working, maybe you will be required to have a certification in English, especially English. Why? Because it's the most popular language in the world. Okay? Maybe you will be asked or required to have an English certification at a certain level in order to have certain position in your job. So it's very important that you have a certification. But as Karina mentioned, there are many kinds of certifications, and most of them have a deadline. They are not validated forever. So you have to know which certification is convenient for you, for your pocket, for your performance, and also for the time that you are getting it. Okay. Look, magic. Okay, good. Companies and educational institutions recognize certificates as a proof of the language mastery of the students in any language. Do you understand what is it? Do you know the meaning of this? Yes? Really? Okay. Chris, what is the meaning of this? Of what we read?
Companies and educational institutions.
I have already read it. What is the meaning? What did you understand from it? Okay, we will listen. Be attentive, please. What happens when we want to ask for a certification? Oh, I'm really in problem. I'm really in trouble because I don't know which certification to choose. This is very expensive. This is very cheap. Maybe the most expensive is great, and maybe the very cheap is So which one do I have to choose? And it happens that the very cheap certification is not something that you have to drop to the trash. It's something that is very useful for you. So you have to know what is the content of every certification. Let's listen to this video, please. No se oye.
El volumen de tu. No, el volumen de tu computador.
Wait, please.
Turn off the microphone. Turn on the microphone. Sorry.
If I think that language certificates are useful or not, my answer, kind of.
Este de aquí. This one. Sí, sí. Apaga tu micrófono. El micrófono. Ese apaga, ese apaga.
Okay.
No.
I have some experience with these certifications. Many questions from our users and subscribers asking if I think that language certifications are useful or not. My answer? Coming up. I'm sure you're familiar with the most popular language certifications such as the TOEFL, the TOEIC, and the IELTS for English, the DELF and DALF for French, the DELE for Spanish, the Goethe certificate for German, and so on. I have some experience with these certifications, as some years ago I took the TOEFL, the Certificate in Advanced English issued by the British Council, and the DELF for French. So are these certifications useful? It really depends on your goals and your personal circumstances. These certifications are useful or even compulsory in some situations. For instance, if you want to study at a foreign university, some of them even require a specific certificate, such as the TOEFL or the IELTS. Another situation, if you want to get citizenship in another country. This was my case last year, and having passed the DELF helped me obtain French citizenship. If you want to work in particular fields, for translators and interpreters, for example, this can be quite useful, especially at the beginning when you don't have a lot of references yet. There is one more situation when having these certificates can be really useful. When you're looking for a job. In some countries like Italy, France, or Spain, people tend to overestimate their language skills. So you have a bunch of people claiming to be fluent in English on their CVs. Then, when they arrive at the job interview and you start asking some questions in English, they go really pale when they realize you're going to find out that they exaggerated a little bit when it comes to their actual language proficiency. That's why many companies hiring multilingual professionals prefer to give interviews to people having these certifications instead of risking it on candidates who might waste their time. So, a language certificate could keep your CV from being thrown out before you make it to the interview stage. Another question is, are language certifications useful for learning or even mastering a language? Of course, it depends on the certification program, but generally speaking, I do not think they are enough to really learn and be able to speak the language. Even if preparing these exams can help, you should not only rely on them to master a language. Some certifications rely too much on writing and grammar, so you end up with people getting very good scores but are still not able to speak the language. Plus, when you are preparing for these exams, you end up working a lot on activities which are more useful for passing the exam than for using the language in real life. I mean, how many times in your life have you had to describe a picture of a family or a landscape? These are things which are often asked of students for certain exams, but aren't the most useful aspects of a language to focus on. However, studying for a language certification can be useful to some extent because it gives you a precise deadline and basically forces you to study. That's what happened to me when I registered for the Certificate in Advanced English. I had to pay about 150 euros just to take the exam, which was a lot for a student. I can assure you that this gave me the motivation to study every day for 3 months because I didn't want to waste my money by failing the exam. To conclude, language certifications can be really useful, proving your skills in different situations, but taking the exam to get them will not help you master the language. They can be of great help, but you should not only rely on them for a good command of your target language. If you're interested in language certifications, I should mention that you can get a Mozzolingua certificate. Of course, if you use our apps or our web platform, Mozzolingua Web. When you reach certain milestones, you unlock a personalized Mozzolingua certificate, which is not only useful for motivation, you can print it out and proudly display it in your home or your office, but also proving to a potential employer that you have worked on your target language and reached certain goals. Take a look below to find out how to get your own certificate. Thanks for watching this video. If you're not yet among our beloved subscribers, just click on the subscribe button. Hi there, it's Luca
Okay, so we offer Colombia, you have to do the TOEFL ITP.
Sí.
It's a requirement. You cannot skip this one, okay? This is only, the validity is only for 2 years. Yes, the expiration is only for 2 years. It has 3 components: reading comprehension, listening comprehension, structure and written expression, and it evaluates in 100% the level of communication of those who speak English as a second language, okay? This exam now it's online and also on paper-based. So you can do it here, physically at the institution, here at the NES, or you can also apply it online from your home, okay? The cost of this exam is regularly cheap. I mean, it's not as expensive as others, yes? And TOEFL here it says it's utmost required to enroll postgraduate students is mandatory. Mandatory, even if you are going to study here at UNAM to continue your studies in a master's or to work here, TOEFL is mandatory. Okay, so you cannot, that's what I said, you cannot skip this part because it's a requirement. What is the problem with this? The problem with TOEFL ITP, but it's not a problem, okay? The problem with TOEFL is that you need to get or to reach a level in English, at least a B2. I don't know in this moment what level are you cursing it? B1, B2?
They are B2.
B2, okay? So maybe when you finish this semester in your class, you are ready to do the TOEFL. An advantage of this is that we can prepare you for free to have this exam. It's important that you know before doing the exam, before paying for the exam, it's really important that you know the format of the exam. Yes? And also that you develop the abilities that are going to be tested in the exam. For example, sometimes if we don't have the ability of reading, even in our own language, in Spanish, for example, if we don't get used to reading very often, we're going to have problems in English. Okay? So the idea of that you know TOEFL ITP, because you will have to do it in any moment. So the idea is that you can develop these abilities that are going to be tested before you do the exam. Okay, the ability of listening also, and well, the grammar structures that you have been working during your classes or in your classes. Okay, so TOEFL is not particularly difficult, but it has a very high level of English. So before you do it, you need to be prepared. Okay, even if you speak English really well, it's better if you prepare and you know the format of the exam, okay? So we can say that this is one of the most important exam that we have because everybody has to do it in one day or another, you have to do it. Now we are offering also TOEFL ITP has a very extended line of exams. It's also the TOEFL IBT that we are going to mention. TOEFL IBT is an international one, so it's mandatory for some universities, okay? It's different because it tested you 5 abilities, also speaking, and well, the oral part, and writing, okay? And that's a little bit different from TOEFL ITP, but it's the same house, okay? We're now offering TOEFL ITP Braille proficiency test for
Visual impaired.
Yeah, visual impaired and blind people mainly. Okay, so we have applied once last semester for a student in Chiapas that has not the possibility to see. So the exam was really good. It was a good experience for us and also for this girl. So we are going to continue offering for in Braille. Okay, so that's a good news. And okay, so check your everything that you want to do when you finish or when you pass to the next level. Because if you are having some weakness in any of these abilities, is a time to start getting ready, to start preparing for them, okay? In order that when you have the date to do it, you are confident that you can have a really good exam, okay? Because really, believe me, this is mandatory. So we have, that's why it's the most sought exam, not only here at UNAM and in the world, because everybody needs it. To mention you an example, workers from Comisión Federal de Electricidad, yeah, they have now to present TOEFL ITP because they need to read manuals in English and stuff, so it's a requirement to work at Comisión. So just to mention you an example, so you're gonna need it. Okay, then we have Cambridge.
Okay, Cambridge exam. What is Cambridge exam? Okay, of course, as the name mentions itself, it comes from the University of Cambridge. The university has been applying exams for many years, okay? And they have a lot of experience applying exams, and there are exams for all the levels, all the kinds of people, including they have the same kind of examination for adults and for kids, like CAT, for example, CAT for schools, or first certificate for schools and for adults, and also for kids who are in third, fourth grade in elementary school. And also, of course, they have certification for business or for certain specific situation. They have a package that is the ESOL package, in which they include different levels from the very beginning, A1, up to the highest level that is proficiency. And you may apply for the exam that you prefer, according to your knowledge in your English. Of course, if you do not fulfill the level that you applied and paid for, they will grant you with the inferior level. For example, if you cannot accomplish with all the indications for a B2, maybe they are going to grant you with a B1. So you are not losing your money, but you are not getting to the level that you need in some cases, because the level that you are required for scholarships, employments, postgrades, any kind of postgrades, going abroad or whatever is B2 up to this moment. But remember that competence is hard. So maybe they are going to increase it to a C1. So you have to study a lot. You have to learn a lot. You have to practice a lot. You have to speak and write and listen and accomplish with all the skills that are required in order to average your level of English. They are not going to give you a big one in writing and a C1 in listening. What they are going to do is make an average of all the components, and you got a B2 or a B2 plus or a B2 minus that is very close to B1. Okay? Cambridge examinations do not have an expiration time. What you are required is that you keep practicing the English. And the people who are backing you have to write a letter that you have been practicing because you have been working or you have been studying in English. So maybe your certification is from 3 years ago, so there's no problem. It has no expiration time. It examines all of these ESOL package, examine 5 different components. That is reading, writing, listening, speaking, and use of English, which is grammar, in a context. They are not going to ask you for the past tense of to have. Forget about that. You have to fill in the blanks with the past tense of have because you know that this is the verb that you have to use in certain situations. Okay? Am I being clear? Okay. Of course, if you fulfill these examinations, which are a little expensive, you are not gaining a bullet, not a bullet. You are not gaining a ticket to go to the United Kingdom. You have to pay for it if you want to go. But a visit to Cambridge will enrich all your knowledge and all your studies, not only in English, but social studies. Okay, good. There is another, I'm sorry. Sure.
Yeah.
IELTS. IELTS. Okay. Boy. Okay, what happens with IELTS? IELTS is a brother of those ESOL examinations that are in one package, but it's a new brand exam. It's like the competence of TOEFL IBT, but in British version. It examines 5 components too, but this exam has an expiration date. It will last you just for 2 years. And this is especially required when you go abroad, for example, to Canada. To get your worker visa in Canada, they will ask you for an IELTS examination. And for many situations, because this exam is in vogue. So this is utmost required nowadays. And what happens with IELTS? They give you an examination which includes different levels of English. And according to the grade or to the assertive answers that you have, they are going to give you the level that you belong to. Okay, this is IELTS.
Okay.
Okay, we have another exam, which
Okay.
is ITEP. And this is the North American version of the exam, just as TOEFL.
Yeah, in for ITEP, it's an exam that we have been testing for the last 2 or 3 years here at NS. And I could recommend this exam. I could recommend it a lot. I like this exam a lot. It's one of my favorites because it is really easy. It's an easygoing exam, to say it in that way, okay? Because it's international, it's academic. It is, it evaluates 5 components as IELTS, as TOEFL IBT, as all of the exams in Cambridge. It is online. You can do it from home. You can do it from the place you prefer to do it at any time. I mean, if you feel more confident or better of doing it, for example, on Sunday, and you said on Sunday in the afternoon, I'm alone at home and nobody's going to bother me, so I can't have this exam on my home. You decide the date, you decide the place, you decide the hour. So that give us, facilitate us life in all senses, okay? Also, it has listening, use of English, reading, writing, and speaking. It has a 24-hour results, immediate results report. But it's not only a report of the level of English you get at the end. It has the most complete report I have seen in my life. It gives you feedback for every single part of the exam. It tells you where did you get mistakes. It gives you feedback of your speaking interview. You can check the recorded audio. They send it to you, and you can see the problems you had. It also gives you feedback of the writing essays or little text that you have to write during the exam. And also some graphics that tells you which abilities are more developed and which abilities are less work or less developed by you. So it is really good. It is really extended. It's immediate. It has everything. So I consider the, yes, you have a question?
What is the expiration?
5 years. It lasts for 5 years. That's another good news. And the other good news is that I don't have to say this because, but I have to. It is the cheapest one. I cannot say cost in this moment, but then you can pass to Mediateca. So because of the price and because of the parts of the exam, the components of the exam, it is possible and recommended to do it to check your level of English. Okay? Also, it is recognized in most of universities nowadays, especially in the United States, because this is an American test, but we have students that go to some European countries and IREP is accepted anyway, okay? Also includes CENI. Gloria is going to talk about CENI. That's another certification, but that's a Mexican one, but she's going to explain you a little bit of that. And for ITEP, Gloria, could you please stop sharing so I can share my screen?
Stop sharing.
Yes, please. Let me show you a little bit more of ITEP.
Okay.
Give me 1 second. This. Yeah. And also. No. Está, si no. Está apagado.
Companies and governments. It's governments. ITEP, or International Test of English Proficiency, is a uniquely adaptable set of English assessment tools used by schools, companies, and governments. It's and question levels are adapted to fit specific industries' needs. Programs. ITEP also has a wide range of English assessment tools for businesses. These tests can be as short as 30 minutes, while still providing highly accurate and detailed score reports in all skills tested. Companies like Honda, Royal Caribbean Cruises, and IBM use ITEP to evaluate the English skills of their employees and applicants. In fact, governments like those of Saudi Arabia and Colombia have used ITEP for large-scale English testing initiatives of students and workers in order to obtain national English proficiency data for use in employment programs and more. So why is ITEP growing so rapidly in both academic and corporate markets? ITEP's speaking and writing sections are scored by native English-speaking ESL-trained professionals. ITEP is extremely secure. Our item bank system ensures no two tests are the same, and our proprietary PhotoSure technology makes cheating by impersonation impossible. ITEP score reports are very detailed. Data gathered by repeated test administrations can demonstrate even the smallest improvements in a test taker's English proficiency. Likewise, it can help identify areas that require a bit more work. Give it a try. Call us or visit our website at itepexam.com and find out what ITEP can do for you.
Pete, you're on the present. For me, it's one of my favorites.
In the slide for ITEP, there was a STENI that ITEP takes you to SENI. SENI is a certification that the SEP gives, especially to it can give it to all the people, but especially professors who work for public schools, and they need a certain level of English to teach the kids or the adolescents, are required this certification that SEP gives to you. So you apply for your exam, and with the results of the exam, we do this work in Mediateca. We take all your papers, document, personal documents, whatever, and the result, and we take it to SEP, and SEP gives you a certification that you are able to work in the public schools. And today, also the private schools, those who want to teach English in a private school, you will be required to give the SENI, because the SEP is going to require that school for this certification, okay? While you are students in here, you don't need it, but this is only for people who are working or are planning to work for schools, okay? So, okay.
It's expensive.
Which one? The SENI, it's for free. That's good news. It doesn't have any cost. And Gloria do all of the process. Yeah, of the SENI.
You know that I love bureaucracy, right? My students.
Yeah, she's the only one who can deal with SEP. Okay, fine. So we also have for Spanish. You may think that why do I need a Spanish exam if Spanish is my native language? Do I need a Spanish exam? Do I need to certify my Spanish? Is there any reason that to certify my Spanish level? Yes, there is. Spanish is one of the most difficult languages to learn around the world. English is easy. Spanish is kind of difficult, and we know that, okay? I don't know what careers are you studying, but for example, we have tried this exam before. That is the CL exam. We have it here also at NS. It's an international exam. And this exam is especially for foreign students or foreign people that need to certify their level of English. As you know, we have many professors, many teachers that come from other parts of the world, and they need to prove that their level of Spanish is good, even if they are going to teach you Italian or English or Korean. They have first to be tested or evaluated in their Spanish level. It's the same thing that happens to us when we go abroad. we need to certify our level of English. It's the same for them. You are not foreign students, but if you want in the future to certify your Spanish level because of job requirements in other countries, this is the way to do it. We have applied this exam before to students for literature, for the career here, literature. I don't know if you studied that career, but they did this exam. They have done it before, and the students from the next generations have done it because it's important for them to have this document to teach Spanish. Spanish now is a boom. It's more, I mean, it's like Japanese or Korean. People from other countries, European countries, and also United States of Canada, they want to learn Spanish. And it's really a boom. And everybody goes to Spain. Why? Because Spain has everything according to these tools for learning Spanish. But we in Mexico are doing it now. So this is a way to do it, okay? And it's also good to know what level of Spanish do you have. Is when you can recognize yourselves, how good you are at writing, at speaking, at reading, yes? Your abilities in your own language. When your abilities in your own language are good or are well qualified, that's gonna help you a lot to have good quality or good abilities in other language, okay? It's what I told you at the beginning about TOEFL, that when you don't read in Spanish in your own language, you don't read in any other language. So we need to work on the abilities, okay? We need to develop those abilities in order to have them in our own language and then in another language, yes? Also for listening, for example, how many times have you experienced when you are with a friend having a coffee or, you know, in an informal chat or conversation, and you are talking to your friend or to your couple, boyfriend, girlfriend, yes, about a problem you have. And when you finish talking with them or with him or her about the problem you want to express or talk or to feel less pressure or less stress, your friend is not listening to you. He's in another thing. And he says, what do you say? Or they are not paying attention to you, right? So sometimes you have to repeat the information twice or three times, and that's so tiring and sometimes annoying. Even in our own language, that happens. And sometimes we don't know how to explain certain situations. So even when the other person is looking at us and paying attention, sometimes I say, I don't understand what you're saying. Yes? Have you experienced that? Because that happens to me every day. Yes, I have to talk to many people, and sometimes I explain something and they say, I don't understand anything in Spanish. So I said, oh my God, okay. So I need to look for other words or vocabulary in order to they get the message. Or sometimes because the person on the other side of the phone or of the other side of the desk doesn't have the ability of listening. So it's when they have to take notes. Many people that comes to for some information, they have to take notes of everything you said. So I said, I just give you one date and one cost, and why do you have to write that information? It's only 2 lines. And this is because I don't remember then. So that's a thing when we have to develop into work in abilities that we haven't worked before, even in our language. Okay, so this exam can help you to know the reality, okay? And you are going to be surprised. I did this exam. Gloria did it too, I think. Tere in the back did it twice. And you're going to get surprised when you get the result. You say, oh my God, I don't know Spanish. Yes, because there are many aspects that we don't work regularly, okay? Yeah. Fine. So, Gloria, there's a video I want to show you.
Short video. Okay.
Okay, and also to add a little bit more of information about this exam, when you get the result and you can see which abilities you haven't developed before, we have also, for example, subjects for you that also are for free, like redacción de textos académicos, yes, that helps you a lot to write in your own language, correct, in the correct way, okay? So here's, it's from level A1 to C1. It's based also on the Common European Framework of Reference, and we have it here at the center, okay? Thanks.
This is French, fancy, okay? If you want to study French, when you finish your global package of English, great, because French is the second language more spoken in the world. The first one is English, the second one is French. So it is nice if you can learn a third language, or a fourth, or a fifth, or many languages. As many languages, the better. Okay. And we also have a certificate to prove or to evaluate your proficiency in French. One of them is DELF, is the Diploma of Studies in French Language. And another one is DALF, that is a more deep, it's a deeper diploma of French language. And these are official qualifications awarded by the French Ministry of Education to certify the competence of candidates from outside France in the French language. This is for people who are not native speakers. This is only for people who have a different language, like us, for example. These certificates are valid for life. They do not expire. While DELF corresponds to level A1 and A2, so this is beginners, up to B1 and B2, that is intermediate or high intermediate. DALF corresponds to levels C1 and C2. So this is more or less native speakers. Okay, and this is
learning languages is perhaps one of the most important skills in today's globalized world. Not only does it let you travel and connect with natives, it also gives you a unique edge and opens up high-paying job opportunities. In this video, we're going to look at 7 reasons why, in addition to English, you should learn French. Number 1. A world language. More than 300 million people speak French on the 5 continents. French is the second most widely learned foreign language after English, and the 5th most widely spoken language in the world. Alongside English, French is also the only language that is taught in almost every country in the world. Number 2. A language for the international job market. Knowing how to speak French and English is an advantage on the international job market. A knowledge of French opens the doors of French companies in France and other French-speaking parts of the world, such as Canada. As one of the world's largest economies and a leading destination for foreign investment, France is a key economic partner. Number 3. A language for travel. France is one of the world's top tourist destinations. It attracts more than 87 million visitors a year. The ability to speak even a little French makes it so much more enjoyable to visit the country and offers insights into its culture and way of life. French also comes in handy when traveling to French-speaking parts of the world, like Africa, Belgium, and Switzerland. Number 4. The language of culture. French is the international language of cooking, fashion, theater, the visual arts, dance, and architecture. A knowledge of French offers access to great works of literature in the original French, as well as films and songs. French is the language of Victor Hugo René Descartes, Jean-Paul Sartre, Alain Ducasse, Edith Piaf, Coco Chanel, among others.
Okay.
Number 5. The other language of international relations. French is both a working language and an official language of the United Nations, the European Union, UNESCO, NATO or North Atlantic Treaty Organization, the International Olympic Committee, the International Red Cross, and international courts. Number 6. A language for learning other languages. French is a good base for learning other languages, especially Romance languages, namely Spanish, Italian, Portuguese, and Romanian, as well as English, since a significant percentage of English vocabulary is derived from French, like the words money, sport, and rendezvous. Number 7. The language of love and reason. Learning French is the pleasure of learning a beautiful, rich, and melodious language that is often called the language of love. French is also an analytical language that structures thought and develops critical thinking, which is a valuable skill for discussions and negotiations.
Okay. The thing here is that you know that in Mediateca, all these examinations are available for you of all the above mentioned exams, okay? And of course, all the incoming students and staff of NS Morelia and extern people, people who are outdoors, are welcome to attend free language courses at Mediateca. Free for those in the NS. It has a cost, a very low cost for the people who are outdoors. Okay? Okay.
Okay, so we hope to see you there really soon. If not, please contact us. Here is the email, or you can find us in building F, first floor, at the end of the hall. Thank you for everything.
Thank you. Have a great lunch. Thank you very much. See you soon at Mediateca.
See you soon.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you for coming.
The email for the people that are watching us is mediateca@nsmorelia.unam.com.
Bueno, le damos un agradecimiento a las personas que siguieron esta transmisión en vivo y a las personas que van a ver esta conferencia, y en la cajita de información abajo de este video van a poder encontrar todos los medios de contacto para poder conocer un poco más sobre las certificaciones que presentan maestros. Con mucho gusto. Nos vemos en el próximo lunes en la siguiente sesión del ciclo de conferencias de lengua y cultura.